there, my name is Andrea, and I'm here with my sister Lauren. She teaches a preschool and kindergarten autism special day class here in Fresno, California, and so I'm having her review my lesson, and we're going to talk about that. First and foremost, do you have any comments or questions?
Yes. I thought it was a really good lesson. I liked all the different modalities that you used with the video and then the kind of like a think, pair, share where they were reading and answering questions together. And then the group lesson was nice. And it was a fun science thing about sneezing because it looked like you were in 4th grade. So teaching sneezing appropriately is good
Yeah.
also.
Hopefully they know how to do it by then.
My question was how many times have you been in that classroom?
That was my first time with that specific set of kids. I've subbed for the classroom, their other 4th grade classroom, like 3 times. So I've been familiar with the kids, but I've never actually subbed in their room, and so obviously that's difficult. Just with classroom management and stuff for the first time, and trying to teach a lesson when I don't know the makeup, so I didn't know if any kids had learning disability or if there were any EL students in there, which would have been nice to know ahead of time, but I tried to get that covered in the plans as best I could. So on our first question that I wanted to talk about says, based on your analysis of student learning evidence, establish what has been learned and by whom, what has not been learned and by whom, and who needs additional support. So when I collected back all of our papers, I had them do the 2 sides of the worksheet. What I noticed right away is a lot of the students, once we got to the multiple choice and vocabulary, we ended up doing that as a whole class, and a lot of the students didn't complete it. So I think that, pulling sticks would have been a better idea, because I think a lot of people just checked out. It was the end of the day. They were just getting the answers said to them really by their friends who wanted to participate. So I had actually a couple kids that I would have gone back and checked to see if they got all of their...
Were you doing it on on the board? I didn't see. I just saw your face.
Oh yeah, we were doing it on the dot cam. I had it up on the dot cam. The first part they did together, the
answer, the first page.
This part they did in groups, and then this we did as a class. But a lot of them just stopped even filling this out by the end there. So, pulling sticks, I'm really bad about doing that. Because that's when, you have the sticks with their names on it.
Yeah, I have sticks.
You have sticks. Okay, cool. I'm really bad about doing that. And then I just, call on the kids who always raise their hands, and then I feel like they check out. Anyways.
Or maybe giving them a chance to do the multiple choice together with their partner and then reviewing it.
Yeah.
Or even, if it's your class and the kids, maybe having them pairing them up on purpose, with maybe a high-low or, because then they might be a little bit more focused on it.
Yeah.
But I did notice they were antsy at the end, and even one of them was like, there's only 2 minutes, we're not going to make it.
Yeah, they were, we were cutting it a little close to the bell there, and it was a Friday, so that was a fun day. I haven't even answered the question, have I? Oh, so yeah, that's what I was saying. So a lot of them, there was really a couple of students that I would go back and reiterate the lesson to and make sure that they actually learned about sneezing.
Yeah.
Oh, and I should probably say that my standard was for literacy. It was referring to details and examples in a text when explaining what the text says explicitly and when drawing inferences from the text and supporting key details.
Yeah.
So they had to read their passage. Well, I read it to them first. I also think that I should have started with the video, maybe to get their attention. Because, I don't know. I feel like when I was in school, I didn't like getting read to.
They seemed pretty, they were quiet at least. I don't know how engaged they were since there was no camera on them.
Yeah.
But even when you were reading to them, it seemed like they were listening.
Well, they also knew they were being filmed, which actually helped a lot. So I was like, this is for school.
Mm-hmm.
And then they, like, behaved so well.
Yeah.
What's next? Okay. Formulate how effective your instructional design was based on your planning and teaching as evidenced by the data. We talked about that.
Yes.
I think I would have liked I think that something that I would really want to do in my class, obviously for this they don't have, maybe they do. I didn't look that hard apparently, but I think it's more entertaining when somebody else is reading. Like, you know how they have recordings of people reading them?
Yeah.
And then they get to listen and read, and it's not just me reading it to them. I think students can get bored of listening to their teacher talk all day long.
Yeah. I have a question. On the vocabulary part, if you had more time, maybe also referring to the text to try to figure out the answer as a group.
Yeah, we didn't do that. It was just, whoever raised their hand.
Yeah.
We definitely ran out of time. So giving myself more time. This is the first time I've ever had to build a lesson plan by myself. And so this was good practice on how much time that I need to lend for each subject.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that was good to know, too. Moving forward, how will you plan differently? Give myself more time. Thank you. Additional strategies. I think we had enough strategies for one lesson with the video and then the reading aloud and then the group work.
Yeah.
And the partner work. What else does this say? Multi-level tiered. Oh, yeah. So I didn't see from the worksheets anybody who would have been maybe EL or special education. They all pretty much got the same answers pretty easily. So that's good. Sorry, I'm looking through all of their papers.
It's okay.
How will you modify, extend, or incorporate new levels of presentation, expression, and engagement for each learner's group as it relates to their process and products of learning? I liked what you said about pairing them up once I know my students and know who's a higher level student and who's a lower level student. I think that's going to help keep them engaged in the lesson. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I think that's a good idea, especially maybe also like you're having them read it to each other. And so maybe some kids might not be able to read as well. So it's not as frightening just reading to a peer rather than being called on and having to read out loud. Yeah. So even when they're grouped up like that too, the student that needs a little bit more help can be helped easily by a peer.
Mm-hmm.
And I think learning from a peer is not as scary.
Yeah. That's what I've read. A lot of teachers now just hate doing that popcorn reading unless you give them a chance to like practice what they're going to read ahead of time. That it's not really fair to evaluate their learning. Like,
I still to this day in trainings have people do that to me and I hate it.
Yeah.
Because as a child and now I've never liked reading out loud. I don't like people paying attention to me or looking at me.
Yeah.
And it's not because I don't know how to read. It's just an anxiety of being the center of attention. Mm-hmm. And I still have, as an adult, have people popcorn read in trainings. Mm. And I just get anxious and sweaty knowing it's coming out.
Yeah. And then you can't retain any information. Like, if I'm reading something aloud, I'm the same way, and I don't even know what I read.
Absolutely not. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm just thinking about what I sounded like.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. I agree with that. All right, let me look over my lesson one last time and see if there's anything else that I missed.
I wanted to tell you, I liked your flat tire I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
And it worked really well.
You have to mix them up. I have found, like, if you just do the same one all day, they eventually stop listening to it.
Right.
So I've learned a bunch of them just from subbing in different classes, because everyone has their own.
Yeah, that was cute.
They were a good group of kids. Okay, so I did the video, and then we did the worksheet. Yeah. The only thing is, again, like if I had more time, there was an essay too that they could have done on the very back that they would have had to do on their own. And I think that would have helped me gauge kind of the level of learning that had taken place, because I think it's hard sometimes to evaluate a specific student if everything is done in groups or in partners.
Yeah.
So I would have liked to add that last one in there to see if they really understood what they were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's it. Any last thoughts?
Great job.
Thanks. Thanks for your help. I'm going to stop recording.